The crystal towers of Zelthara Prime sparkled in the light of two golden suns. For 3,000 years, the Zelani people had lived in peace. Their bodies looked like living glass, beautiful and delicate. They spent their days creating art, solving math problems, and trading with other peaceful worlds. Elder Thane stood in the highest tower, his crystal body shaking with fear. Through the window, he could see the black ships in space. The enemy fleet had arrived 3 days ago. They called themselves the Hegemony, and they came to take everything. "Elder, we have lost contact with the mining colony on Zelthara 2, said Assistant Kira. Her voice was like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "The enemy ships? They destroyed everything." Thane closed his eyes. The Zelani had no weapons. They had no army. For thousands of years, they never needed them. The galaxy was supposed to be safe. The Galactic Cooperation Council promised peace for all member worlds. "How many refugees are coming from the outer colonies?" Thane asked. 6 million so far. But the ships keep coming. The enemy is moving closer to our main world. Thane looked at the refugee ships filling their sky, families packed into cargo vessels, children crying for parents who would never come home. The Hegemony killed everyone who fought back, but the Zelani did not know how to fight. "Have we heard back from the Council?" Thane asked. Kira's light dimmed with sadness. "The Altarians say they are too far away to help. The Vegan Republic fears the Hegemony will attack them next if they help us. The Centauri Alliance. They said they will pray for us." Thane felt his crystal heart grow cold. All those treaties, all those promises of friendship. When death came calling, the galaxy turned away. "What about our defense platforms?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. The platforms were designed to stop asteroids, not warships. The enemy destroyed them in the first hour. Outside, another refugee ship landed. Steam rose from its engines as thousands more Zelani stumbled out. They had run from their homes with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Some were injured. All were scared. "Elder," said Communication Officer Vex from across the room, "we are getting more reports from the fleet in space. Tell me, the enemy commander sent us a message. He says we have 24 hours to surrender. If we do not, he will turn our world into dust." Thane's hands gripped the window ledge so hard that small cracks appeared in the crystal. What kind of beings destroy entire worlds for no reason? "The Hegemony believes that might makes right," Kira said quietly. "They have conquered 47 worlds in the past 50 years. They take resources and make the people into slaves. We cannot fight them," Thane said. "We do not have soldiers or weapons. Our people do not even understand violence. Then what do we do?" Thane thought for a long moment. Outside, families hugged each other as they waited in long lines for food and shelter. Children played games in the refugee camps, not understanding that they might die tomorrow. The Zelani were good people. They deserved to live. "Send another message to the Council," Thane said. "Tell them this is our final plea. We need immediate help. Medical supplies, refugee ships, anything they can spare." "Elder, they already said no." "Then send it to everyone. Every world in the database. Every species we have ever traded with. Someone must care." Vex began typing the message. "What should I say?" "Tell them." Thane paused. "How do you ask the galaxy to save your people?" "Tell them that the Zelani people face extinction. We have never harmed anyone. We seek only to live in peace. We are sending this message to all who might help. We need humanitarian aid. We need refugee ships. We need protection. Should I mention the Hegemony by name?" "Yes. Let the galaxy know what they do to innocent people. Maybe someone will care." The message went out across the galaxy. It traveled through space, reaching hundreds of worlds. Most ignored it. Some sent messages of sympathy but no help. The council members had their own problems. Hours passed. The Hegemony ships moved closer. Their huge vessels cast shadows over the refugee camps. Parents told their children stories to keep them calm, but everyone could feel death coming. "Any responses?" Thane asked as the sun began to set. "Nothing useful," Vex said. "The Proxima colony wishes us luck. The Tau Ceti research station says they will remember us. The mining guild on Kepler Prime sent prayers. That is all?" "Wait." Vex looked confused at his screen. "There is one more signal coming in." "But the source is strange." "What do you mean strange?" "The signal comes from the galactic rim, from a system marked as quarantined. The computer says it is a Class 12 death world. Nothing should be able to live there." Thane frowned. "What does the message say?" Vex read slowly. "Assistance en route. E to 72 hours. A Terran expeditionary force. Terran? I have never heard of this species. Kira checked the database. There is almost nothing here. The system is called Sol. It was marked as quarantined 100 years ago after a survey probe sent back horrible data. The world is covered in poison water, killer weather, and deadly animals. The survey team said nothing intelligent could survive there. But someone just answered our call from that system, Thane said. Maybe the probe was wrong, Vex suggested. Maybe there is a research station there now. Thane felt a small spark of hope. Try to contact them. Ask what kind of help they are sending. Vex sent the message. They waited. The answer came back quickly. Military response authorized. Do not interfere with combat operations. Estimated enemy casualties total. Refugee assistance will follow pacification of hostile forces. The three Zilani stared at each other. Military response, Kira whispered. We asked for humanitarian aid. What does pacification mean? Vex asked. Thane felt cold fear crawl up his spine. I think it means they plan to fight the hegemony. But that is impossible. The hegemony has never lost a battle. They have the biggest fleet in the galaxy. And these Terrans live on a death world, Thane said slowly. What kind of beings could survive on a world that kills everything else? They looked out at the hegemony fleet. 40 massive ships with enough firepower to burn continents. The enemy thought this would be easy. Just another helpless world to conquer. But now something was coming from the dead system on the galactic rim. Something that called itself the Terran Expeditionary Force. Something that talked about combat operations and enemy casualties, like it was just another day at work. Maybe we should warn the hegemony, Vex said quietly. Warn them about what? Kira asked. A species we know nothing about? Warn them that help is coming, Vex said. Maybe they will leave. Thane thought about this. The hegemony had killed millions of his people. They planned to kill millions more. They had shown no mercy to children or elders. No, he said finally. We do not warn them. Let the hegemony meet these Terrans. Let us see what happens when bullies pick on the wrong target. In space above them, the hegemony fleet prepared for an easy victory. They had no idea that something was coming from the darkness between stars. Something that had learned to fight on a world where everything tried to kill everything else. The Zilani waited and hoped that help would arrive in time. Admiral Crack stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Doomhammer. His forearms crossed behind his back as he watched the scanner displays. The hegemony had conquered 47 worlds using the same simple plan. Arrive with overwhelming force. Demand surrender. Destroy anyone who said no. Status report, Crax ordered. His voice was deep and threatening, like rocks grinding together. All 40 ships are in position around the crystal planet, reported his tactical officer. The locals have 23 hours left to surrender. Any signs of resistance? None, sir. The Zilani have no military. Their ships are for trade and research only. This should be over by tomorrow. Crax nodded. The Zilani would surrender like all the others. Then his ships would strip their world of valuable crystals and minerals. The people would become slaves in hegemony factories. It was the natural order of things. The strong took from the weak, sir, called the sensor operator. I am detecting unusual signals at the edge of the system. Unusual how? Unknown ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. They are not in our database. Crax turned to look at the main screen. 12 dots appeared on the display, moving toward the inner system. Size and classification? Large warships, sir. Heavy cruisers at minimum, maybe larger. Identify them. They are not responding to our hails, sir. The ship designs do not match any known species. Crax felt annoyed but not worried. Sometimes other species tried to interfere with hegemony operations. They always learned better quickly. Battle readiness status, all ships at alert condition. Weapons charged and shields raised. Good. Send a warning to the unknown fleet. Tell them this system is under hegemony control. They have 1 hour to leave or we will destroy them. Light years away, aboard the Terran heavy cruiser Unconquerable, Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen studied the tactical display. Her ship led a force of 12 heavy cruisers and 36 destroyers. Not the largest human fleet, but more than enough for what intelligence called a standard conquest operation. Enemy fleet composition? Chen asked her tactical officer. 40 vessels, Admiral. Mix of heavy cruisers and battleships. Standard hegemony formation. They are not moving to intercept us. They think we are not a threat, said Captain Torres from the navigation station. Their formation is designed for bombarding planets, not fighting other fleets. Chen nodded. She had fought the hegemony before. 5 years ago when they attacked a human research station, the enemy used the same tactics every time. Massive ships with heavy armor and powerful guns. They relied on fear and overwhelming firepower. Have they tried to contact us? Chen asked. Yes, Admiral. Standard threat message. Leave now or be destroyed. Send our reply. What should I tell them? Chen's smile was cold as winter on Mars. Tell them that the Terran Expeditionary Force does not negotiate with terrorists. All hegemony vessels in this system have 30 minutes to surrender or face destruction. Should I really send that, Admiral? Send it exactly as I said. The message flashed across space. On the hegemony flagship, Admiral Krax read it 3 times before he believed it. They dare threaten us? He roared. 40 ships against 12 unknown vessels. Are they insane? Perhaps they do not understand our strength, suggested his tactical officer. Then we will teach them. All ships, attack formation. Target the largest enemy vessel first. Show them what happens when someone challenges the hegemony. The hegemony fleet began to move, 40 warships arranging themselves in a battle line. Their guns charged with deadly energy. Their shields glowed with protective power. On the Unconquerable, Admiral Chen watched the enemy formation with professional interest. Classic hammer formation, she observed. They plan to overwhelm us with concentrated firepower. Orders, Admiral? Asked her tactical officer. Battle stations. All ships switch to combat mode. Unleash the pack. Throughout the human fleet, ships that had looked like peaceful explorers suddenly changed. Armor plates shifted and weapons emerged from hidden compartments. Point defense systems activated. Electronic warfare suites came online. Captain Maria Santos, commanding the destroyer Swift Vengeance, grinned as her ship completed its transformation. All stations report ready for combat, Admiral Chen. Good hunting, Captain. Show them why Earth breeds survivors. The 2 fleets raced toward each other across the dark void of space. The hegemony ships moved in perfect formation, confident in their superior numbers and firepower. The human ships scattered into smaller groups, moving in patterns that made no sense to enemy sensors. Why are they spreading out? Admiral Krax wondered. They are making themselves easier targets. Perhaps they plan to run, said his tactical officer. In different directions? That makes no sense. The first missiles launched when the fleets were still far apart. Hegemony plasma torpedoes streaked across space, seeking the largest human ships. Point defense systems tried to intercept them, but several got through. The explosions lit up space as missiles hit human armor. The hegemony crews cheered, thinking they had scored quick kills. Then the human ships emerged from the explosions, their armor blackened but intact. Impossible, Krax whispered. Those were direct hits. Their armor is incredibly thick, sir, and they have some kind of reactive protection. No matter. Keep firing. Volume of fire will overcome any defense. But the human ships were not where the hegemony expected them to be. They moved like hunting animals, using speed and agility instead of heavy armor and big guns. Human captains pulled maneuvers that would kill most alien crews, but human bodies could handle the crushing force of high-speed turns. Captain Santos brought her destroyer in close to a hegemony battleship, too close for the big guns to target her. Her ship's railguns fired solid slugs at incredible speed. The metal projectiles punched through enemy shields like they were made of paper. Direct hit on enemy engineering section, reported her weapons officer. Enemy ship is losing power. Good, find us another target. Across the battle zone, similar scenes played out. Human ships appeared where the enemy did not expect them. Human weapons, simple compared to alien energy beams, proved devastatingly effective. Most importantly, human crews fought with a coordination that amazed their enemies. Admiral Krax watched his fleet fall apart. Ships that had never lost a battle exploded one by one. His own flagship shook as human missiles found their target. How are they doing this? He demanded. They have half our numbers. Sir, I think they have done this before. Their movements are too coordinated. They know exactly how to fight us. Krax realized the truth. These humans had studied hegemony tactics. They knew every standard formation and strategy. Worse, they had developed specific counters for each one. Send a message to High Command, Krax ordered. Tell them we need reinforcements immediately. What should I tell them about the enemy? Krax watched another of his ships explode in a ball of fire. The humans were not just winning. They were making it look easy. Tell them we have encountered apex predators. On the Unconquerable, Admiral Chen watched the last hegemony ship try to escape. It did not get far before human destroyers caught up with it. Enemy fleet eliminated, Admiral, reported her tactical officer. Total human casualties, 0. Minor damage to 3 ships. Excellent work. Signal the planet. Tell them the immediate threat has been dealt with. What about prisoners, Admiral? Chen's expression did not change. There are no prisoners. The hegemony showed no mercy to innocent civilians. We show them the same courtesy they showed to others. In the crystal towers of Zelthera Prime, Elder Thane received the message from Admiral Chen. He read it twice before calling his assistants. The unknown fleet has destroyed the hegemony ships, he announced. All of them? Kira asked in disbelief. All 40 ships. In 18 minutes. The Zilani stared at each other in shock. The mighty hegemony, conquerors of worlds, had been eliminated by 12 ships from a quarantined death world. What kind of beings did we call for help? Vex whispered. Thane looked up at the stars, wondering the same thing. Supreme Admiral Vorthan sat in his command chamber deep within hegemony space. His massive form filled the chair designed for his 8-foot frame. Multiple screens showed the borders of his empire, 47 conquered worlds producing wealth for the hegemony. A communication officer burst into the chamber without permission.
Supreme Admiral.
Urgent message from Admiral Krax. This better be important, Vorthan growled. Krax should have finished with the crystal planet by now. Sir, the message is disturbing. Vorthan activated the communication system. Admiral Krax appeared on screen, his face filled with terror. Behind him, emergency lights flashed red. Supreme Admiral, we need immediate reinforcements, Krax said quickly. The Zilani system is defended by unknown forces. My fleet has been decimated. What are you talking about? The Zilani have no military. Not the Zilani, sir. Something else. They call themselves Terrans. They came from the quarantined death world on the Galactic Rim. Vorthan laughed. A death world? Nothing intelligent lives on those poisoned rocks. You are making excuses for failure. Sir, you do not understand. These beings, they fight like nothing we have ever seen. They destroyed 39 of my ships in 18 minutes. I am the only survivor. The laughter died in Vorthan's throat. 39 ships? That is impossible. They move their ships in ways that should kill their crews. Their weapons punch through our shields. They coordinate attacks like a pack of predators. Sir, they are not like us. They are something else. Hold position. Do not engage further. I am sending the 2nd Fleet to investigate. Sir, with respect, you should send more than 1 fleet. These Terrans are not a minor threat. Vorthan cut the communication. Admiral Krax was either lying or had lost his mind. No single fleet could destroy 40 hegemony warships that quickly. The 2nd Fleet would investigate and bring back the truth. Admiral Nexus commanded the 2nd Fleet from his flagship, Iron Dominion. 200 ships followed him toward the Zilani system. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and support vessels. The largest force the hegemony had assembled in decades. Have we heard anything more from Admiral Krax? Nexus asked his intelligence officer. No, sir. His ship went silent 6 hours ago. We assume the enemy destroyed it. And what do we know about these Terrans? Very little. They come from a system marked as quarantined. The original survey classified their world as impossible for life. Poisonous atmosphere, extreme weather, deadly animals everywhere. If nothing can live there, how did we receive a message from there? Unknown, sir. Perhaps a research station or mining operation. Nexus studied the tactical reports. Krax claimed they destroyed 39 ships in 18 minutes. That suggests either advanced technology or overwhelming numbers. Our scouts report only 12 enemy vessels in the system, sir. 12 ships destroyed 40? Either Krax is lying, or these beings have technology far beyond anything in the galaxy. What are your orders if we encounter them? Standard protocol. Demand surrender. If they refuse, destroy them. No matter how advanced their technology, they cannot fight 200 ships. The 2nd Fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Zilani system. Immediately, sensors detected the enemy. Contact report, announced the sensor operator. Enemy fleet detected near the 4th planet. Composition: 12 heavy cruisers, 36 destroyers, multiple support vessels. Less than 50 ships total, Nexus observed. How did such a small force defeat Admiral Krax? Unknown, sir. They are maintaining position around the Zilani homeworld. Transmit standard surrender demand. Give them 1 hour to comply. The message flashed across space. On the bridge of the Unconquerable, Admiral Chen read it with amusement. They want us to surrender? Captain Torres asked. Do they not know what happened to their 1st Fleet? Apparently not, Chen replied. Send our response. What should it say? Tell them that Earth remembers what the hegemony did to our research station 5 years ago. Tell them that humanity does not forgive. Tell them they have 30 minutes to withdraw or face the consequences. Admiral, they outnumber us 4-1. Chen's smile was cold. Good. I was worried this would be too easy. Admiral Nexus read the human response 3 times. Research station? What research station? Checking records, sir, said his intelligence officer. After a few minutes, he looked up. 5 years ago, Admiral Korath destroyed a small research facility in the Tau Ceti system. The inhabitants called themselves humans. All personnel were killed. These Terrans are the same species? It appears so, sir. One research station with maybe 100 people, and they remember it 5 years later? Sir, perhaps we should consider withdrawal. If they destroyed Admiral Krax's fleet. No, Nexus said firmly. The hegemony does not retreat. Prepare for battle. All ships attack formation. 200 hegemony ships arrange themselves in their classic formation, overwhelming firepower concentrated into a hammer blow that had crushed every enemy they had ever faced. Admiral Chen watched the enemy formation with professional interest. They are using the same tactics as the First Fleet. Have they learned nothing? Perhaps they think superior numbers will make the difference, suggested Captain Torres. Then let us teach them about human innovation. All ships implement Protocol 7. Protocol 7 was something the Terran Navy had developed specifically for fighting large enemy fleets. Instead of meeting force with force, human ships would use speed and coordination to break up enemy formations. The human fleet split into hunter-killer groups. Each group targeted specific enemy ships using superior speed to avoid return fire. Human weapons, designed for efficiency rather than spectacle, proved devastatingly effective against enemy shields and armor. Admiral Nexus watched in growing horror as his carefully planned formation fell apart. Human ships appeared where his sensors said they could not be. They moved in patterns that violated everything he knew about space combat. How are they moving so fast? He demanded. Their ships appear to be built lighter than ours, sir. They sacrifice armor for speed and maneuverability. Then concentrate fire. Volume of fire will overwhelm any defense. But the humans refused to fight the way the hegemony expected. They used hit-and-run tactics, striking quickly and disappearing before enemy guns could target them. Their coordination was perfect, as if all their ships shared the same mind. Captain Santos commanded a group of 6 destroyers hunting hegemony cruisers. Her ships moved like wolves, surrounding isolated enemies and attacking from multiple directions. Target locked, reported her weapons officer. Firing! Railgun slugs punched through the enemy's shields and armor, causing massive internal explosions. The hegemony cruiser broke apart in seconds. Good kill. Find us another target. Captain, we are receiving a communication from the enemy ship we just destroyed. Put it through. A hegemony officer appeared on screen, his face filled with pain and terror. Why do you do this? We surrender. We surrender. Santos studied the alien's face for a moment. Did you ask that question when you bombed our research station? Did you care about surrender when you killed our scientists? I do not understand. What research station? Tau Ceti, 5 years ago. Your people murdered 123 humans who were studying plant growth in low gravity. They were not soldiers. They were not a threat. They were just trying to learn. That was a military operation. It was nothing personal. Santos's expression hardened. Everything is personal when you kill humans. We do not forget. We do not forgive. The communication ended as the enemy ship exploded. Across the battle zone, the story repeated itself. Human ships eliminated enemy vessels with ruthless efficiency. The hegemony formation collapsed into chaos as ships tried to escape the coordinated human attack. Admiral Nexus realized he was watching the destruction of his entire fleet. Send a message to High Command. Priority 1. What should I tell them? Tell them to evacuate all border systems. Tell them the quarantine around the Sol system was not to keep things out. It was to keep something in, sir. Tell them we have awakened something that should have been left alone. These humans are not like other species. They are apex predators who have learned to travel between stars. The communication ended as human missiles found the Iron Dominion. Admiral Nexus had time for one final thought before his ship exploded. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when prey evolved into predators. On Zelthara Prime, Elder Thane watched the second battle through telescopes. The humans had destroyed 200 hegemony ships in less than 2 hours. "What have we called to help us?" he whispered. Assistant Kira looked up from her communication console. "I am receiving a message from the human admiral." "What does it say?" "System secure. Refugee assistance ships en route. No further hegemony forces detected." Thane felt relief and fear in equal measure. The humans had saved his people. But what kind of beings could destroy entire fleets so easily? Soon, the galaxy would learn the answer to that question. High Admiral Cormath, Supreme Commander of all hegemony forces, stood before the War Council in the capital city of their homeworld. His massive frame towered over the circular table where the Empire's leaders sat in emergency session. 2 fleets destroyed, he announced grimly. Over 200 ships lost. Thousands of our finest warriors dead. "How is this possible?" demanded Senator Vrax. "We have conquered 47 worlds. Our military has never known defeat." "The enemy uses tactics we have never encountered," Cormath replied. "They fight like predators, not like civilized beings. Their ships move in coordinated attacks like pack hunters." "Pack hunters?" Minister Zeph leaned forward. "You speak of them like animals. That may be exactly what they are. Our intelligence suggests they evolved on a death world. Everything on their planet tries to kill everything else. They learn to survive by becoming the deadliest predators in their ecosystem." The War Council members shifted uncomfortably. Most galactic species evolved on peaceful worlds where cooperation led to survival. The idea of intelligent predators was disturbing. "What do you recommend?" asked Supreme Leader Malthorn. "We send everything. The entire Grand Fleet. 300 ships, including our flagship super dreadnought Inevitable Conquest. We end this threat before it spreads." "You believe these humans are a threat to our entire empire?" Cormath nodded gravely. "I believe they are a threat to every species in the galaxy. They must be destroyed completely." Meanwhile, in the Zilani system, Admiral Chen received a priority communication from Earth Command. Admiral Marcus Torres appeared on her screen, his weathered face serious. "Sarah, you have stirred up a hornet's nest. Intelligence reports that the hegemony is mobilizing their entire fleet." "How many ships, Marcus?" 300, including their flagship, which intelligence says is twice the size of anything we have ever built. Chen considered this. "What reinforcements can you send?" "The 3rd battle group is already en route. 48 ships, including my flagship Retribution. We will arrive in 36 hours. That still leaves us outnumbered 3-1. Torres smiled grimly. "Since when has humanity been worried about fair odds? Besides, these hegemony commanders still think like prey species. They rely on overwhelming force instead of tactical innovation." "Any special orders from High Command?" "Yes, you are authorized to implement the Deathworld Doctrine." Chen's expression grew cold. The Deathworld Doctrine was humanity's most ruthless military strategy. It assumed that any enemy willing to target civilians had forfeited all rights to mercy or quarter. "Understood. What about the Zilani?" "Protect them at all costs. High Command has decided that any species willing to call for help when facing extinction deserves our protection. The Zilani are now under the formal protection of the Terran Federation." When Torres's fleet arrived, the combined human force numbered 96 ships. Still badly outnumbered, but Admiral Chen felt confident. Human ships were faster, their crews more experienced, and their tactics more flexible than anything the hegemony could field. The Zilani watched the human fleet with wonder and growing concern. Elder Thane stood in his crystal tower observing the preparations through telescopes. "They are so few," Assistant Kira said quietly. "How can 96 ships fight 300? "I do not know," Thane replied. "But I am beginning to understand that these humans are not like other species. They think differently. They fight differently. Should we offer to help? Our industrial facilities could build support equipment. I asked Admiral Chen that question yesterday. She said the best way we can help is to stay out of their way and document what happens for the galactic historical record." "Document what happens?" "She said the galaxy needs to understand what occurs when someone threatens human-protected civilians." Across the system, Captain Santos prepared her destroyer squadron for battle. Her ships had been modified with the latest human military technology. Advanced sensors, improved weapons, and armor designed to absorb tremendous punishment. "Captain," her tactical officer reported, "the new ammunition has been loaded. Full magazines of kinetic penetrators and fusion warheads." "Good. What about the electronic warfare suite?" "Fully operational. We can jam enemy communications and spoof their targeting systems. Santos nodded. Human military doctrine emphasized combined arms warfare. Ships, weapons, and electronics all work together to create effects greater than the sum of their parts. The hegemony Grand Fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the system's edge. 300 ships in perfect formation, led by the massive super dreadnought Inevitable Conquest. The flagship was 4 kilometers long and bristled with enough firepower to destroy continents. High Admiral Cormath stood on the bridge of his flagship, surveying the enemy through the main view screen. The human fleet looked tiny compared to his armada. Less than 100 ships, he observed. This will be over quickly. Should we offer them a chance to surrender? Asked his tactical officer. No. These predators must be exterminated completely. No survivors, no prisoners, no mercy. Admiral Chen received the long-range sensor data and whistled softly. That is a big ship. The Inevitable Conquest, reported her intelligence officer. 4 kilometers long, crew of 50,000. Armor 3 times thicker than anything we have ever faced. Weakness analysis? Its size works against it. Too large to maneuver quickly. The weapons are powerful but slow to recharge. If we can get close enough, our rapid-fire system should overwhelm their defenses. Range to engagement? 2 hours at current approach speeds. Chen activated the fleet communication system. All ships, this is Admiral Chen. In 2 hours, we will engage the largest enemy fleet in hegemony history. They think their size and numbers guarantee victory. They are wrong. Her voice carried across 96 ships, reaching 20,000 human crew members. These beings chose to target innocent civilians. They chose to threaten a peaceful species that never harmed anyone. They chose to make this personal when they attacked our research station 5 years ago. Chen paused, letting her words sink in. Today, we show the galaxy what happens when predators threaten the innocent. Today, we demonstrate why Earth breeds survivors. All ships implement Deathworld doctrine. No quarter asked, none given. The human fleet began to change formation. Instead of the traditional battle line favored by most species, they split into hunting groups. Each group had a specific target and mission. High Admiral Cormath watched the enemy formation with confusion. What are they doing? Their formation makes no tactical sense. Perhaps they plan to run, sir. In different directions. That would just make them easier to hunt down. Orders, sir? Full attack. All ships, maximum firepower. Destroy them quickly! The hegemony fleet accelerated toward the humans, maintaining their tight formation. 300 ships moving as one unstoppable hammer. Captain Santos watched the enemy approach through her ship's sensors. Time to show them why humans hunt in packs. All ships execute Plan Alpha. Her squadron split into 3 groups, each approaching the enemy from a different angle. Their ships moved at maximum acceleration, using every trick human engineering could provide. The first missiles launched when the fleets were still far apart. Hegemony plasma torpedoes streaked across space seeking human ships. But the humans had learned from previous battles. Point defense systems intercepted most incoming missiles, while the ships themselves used superior maneuverability to avoid the rest. Human return fire was different. Instead of massive single shots, they fired volleys of smaller missiles and kinetic projectiles. The volume of fire overwhelmed hegemony defenses through sheer numbers. Admiral Chen coordinated the battle from her flagship, watching as human tactics began to take effect. Target their command ships first. Cut off their communications and coordination. Aye, Admiral. Firing. The Unconquerable's main gun spoke, sending tungsten slugs across space at incredible velocity. The projectiles punched through enemy shields and armor like they were made of paper. High Admiral Cormath felt his flagship shake as human weapons found their target. How are they penetrating our shields? Their weapons are purely kinetic, sir. Solid projectiles moving at extreme velocity. Our energy shields are not designed to stop physical objects. Then adjust shield frequency. Sir, physical objects do not have frequencies. The shields cannot stop them. Cormath realized with growing horror that the humans had designed their weapons specifically to counter hegemony defenses. Everything about their military doctrine was intended to neutralize hegemony advantages. Across the battle zone, human pack tactics proved devastatingly effective. Multiple ships would target a single enemy vessel, overwhelming its defenses through coordinated fire. When the enemy ship was destroyed, the pack would move to the next target. Sir, reported Cormath's tactical officer, we have lost 30 ships in the first hour. Enemy losses are minimal. How is that possible? We outnumber them 3-1. They are not fighting the way we expected, sir. They refuse to engage in direct combat. Instead, they use hit-and-run tactics, superior speed, and pack-hunting techniques. Cormath watched another of his battleships explode under concentrated human fire. The humans fought like the predators they were, using intelligence and coordination instead of brute force. Send a message to all remaining fleets, he ordered. Tell them to avoid the Sol system at all costs. Tell them humanity is not prey, they are ape. 3 days after the destruction of the Hegemony Grand Fleet, emergency sessions were being held across the galaxy. In the crystal towers of the Galactic Cooperation Council, representatives from dozens of species gathered to discuss the impossible news. Chancellor Morvain of the Altarian Republic called for order. We are here to discuss the reports from the Zilani system. If these reports are accurate, everything we know about galactic politics has changed. The Centauri ambassador leaned forward. Are we certain these reports are real? The destruction of over 500 hegemony ships by a single unknown fleet seems impossible. The data comes from multiple sources, replied the Vegan observer. Long-range sensors, survivor testimonies, and direct communication from the victorious fleet. The humans are real, and they have destroyed the most powerful military force in known space. Humans. Chancellor Morvain repeated slowly, from the quarantine system. We kept that region isolated because survey reports said nothing could survive there. Apparently something not only survived but evolved into apex predators, said the Proxima representative. The question is, what do they want? As if in answer to their question, every communication system in the chamber activated simultaneously. A signal was coming through on all frequencies, broadcast to every world in the Galactic Cooperation Council. Admiral Sarah Chen appeared on the screens. Behind her, the bridge of the Unconquerable hummed with quiet efficiency. Human officers worked at their stations with the calm confidence of proven warriors. Members of the Galactic Cooperation Council. Chen began. This is Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Expeditionary Force. 3 days ago, you received a desperate plea for help from the Zilani people. Most of you ignored that plea. The assembled diplomats shifted uncomfortably. It was true. They had turned away when the Zilani faced extinction. The Terran Federation answered that call. We have eliminated the hegemony threat to the Zilani system. All hostile forces have been neutralized. Neutralized was a gentle word for the complete destruction Chen had delivered. We are now broadcasting this message to inform the galaxy of several important facts. First, the Zilani people are now under the formal protection of the Terran Federation. Any attack on their worlds will be considered an attack on humanity itself. Chancellor Morvain felt a chill run down his spine. These humans spoke like they expected to win any fight they entered. Second, the Terran Federation stands ready to assist any Galactic Cooperation Council member facing similar aggression. We have seen what happens when peaceful species are abandoned to face violent conquest alone. We will not allow it to continue. The implications hit the assembled diplomats like a physical blow. These humans were not asking to join the galactic community. They were announcing they had appointed themselves as its protectors. Third, any species or organization that targets innocent civilians will face the full military response of the Terran Federation. We do not negotiate with terrorists. We do not accept surrender from those who target the defenseless. We eliminate threats to innocent life. Admiral Chen paused, letting her words sink in across dozens of worlds. The hegemony learned this lesson at the cost of over 500 warships. We hope others will be wiser. The transmission included detailed tactical recordings of the battles. Species across the galaxy watched in fascination and horror as human fleets tore through hegemony formations with ruthless efficiency. On the hegemony homeworld, the government was in complete collapse. High Admiral Cormath's damaged flagship had limped home with news of the disaster. The supreme leader was dead, killed when riots broke out across the capital. The empire that had ruled through fear now faced rebellion on every world. Minister Drax, one of the few surviving government officials, read the human transmission with growing despair. The message was clear. Humanity would hunt down every remaining hegemony leader and ship. Send a message to the humans, he ordered his communication officer. What should it say? Unconditional surrender. Tell them the hegemony government formally dissolves itself. All military forces are ordered to stand down. We will cooperate fully with any war crimes investigations. It was the end of an empire that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries. Back in the Zilani system, Elder Thane stood in his crystal tower watching human ships patrol the space around his world. The refugee camps were gone now, replaced by new cities built with human engineering assistance. His people were safe, but at what cost? The humans have established a permanent base on our fourth moon, Assistant Kira reported. They say it is for our protection. Do you believe them? I think they mean well. But Elder, they are so different from us. They think like predators. They see threats everywhere. Thane nodded. Perhaps that is exactly what we need. For thousands of years, we believed the galaxy was safe. We thought all intelligent species would choose peace over war. The hegemony taught us how wrong we were. And now we are protected by beings who are even more dangerous than the hegemony. No, Thane said slowly. The hegemony was dangerous to the innocent. The humans are dangerous to those who threaten the innocent. There is a difference. Captain Santos walked through the human base on Zelthara 4. The facility was built into the moon's rocky surface, hidden from casual observation, but bristling with defensive weapons. Her destroyer squadron was permanently stationed here now, ready to respond to any threat to the Zilani people. Status report, she requested from her tactical officer. All systems green. Long-range sensors show no hostile activity within 50 light-years. The shipping lanes are clear. Good. What about the Zilani integration program? Progressing well? Their engineers are learning human manufacturing techniques. In exchange, they are teaching us their crystal-growing technology. The cultural exchange is beneficial for both species. Santos nodded. This was what humanity did best, protect the innocent and learn from them. The Zilani would never be warriors, but they had other gifts to offer the galaxy. On distant worlds, other species watched the human fleet movements with careful attention. The Proxima colony requested human assistance with pirate raids that had plagued their shipping for years. The Tausedi research stations asked for protection while they studied dangerous cosmic phenomena. Each request was evaluated by Admiral Chen and her staff. If the threat was real and the species peaceful, human ships would arrive within days. Pirates, raiders, and aggressive neighbors learned to avoid systems under human protection. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the Terran Federation's first ambassador to the Galactic Cooperation Council, sat in her new office on the Council's capital world. Her job was to explain humanity to the galaxy and help peaceful species understand their new protectors. Ambassador, her aide announced, the Altarian Republic is requesting a formal defense treaty. What kind of threat are they facing? Border disputes with the Rigel Consortium. Nothing violent yet, but tensions are rising. Rodriguez considered this. Schedule a meeting with their representatives. We need to understand the situation before we commit military resources. This was the new reality. Humanity had become the galaxy's police force, whether anyone had asked for it or not. The responsibility was enormous, but so was the need. Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of her flagship, looking out at the stars. Admiral Torres joined her, both veterans contemplating their new role in galactic affairs. Do you think we are doing the right thing? Torres asked. I think we are doing the necessary thing, Chen replied. For too long, peaceful species have been helpless against aggressive neighbors. The Galactic Cooperation Council could not protect its own members. Someone had to step up, and it had to be us? Chen smiled grimly. Who else? We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned to survive by becoming more dangerous than everything else. Now we use that ability to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The galaxy will never be the same. Good. The old galaxy allowed species like the hegemony to exist. The new galaxy will not. Far across the void on the edges of known space, other species watched and learned. Some planned to test themselves against these new human protectors. Others began changing their own military doctrines, studying human tactics and technology. But on Zelthara Prime, crystal children played in gardens their grandparents thought they would never see again. Peaceful traders moved through space protected by human warships. Researchers studied cosmic mysteries under the shield of human military might. The galaxy had called for help and received humanity instead. For the innocent, it was the best trade possible. For everyone else, the age of consequences had begun.